Good day everyone. Thank you for clicking and watching this video. This is Teacher Ryan O, and this is my second video on Mental Math for All. On this video I'm going to feature mental math techniques, particularly in dealing with multiplication. So without further ado, let's get started. Multiplication is probably the most interesting and most fascinating operation among the four fundamental operations in arithmetic. This is because there are several ways, if I say several, there are really many ways to do multiplication. And in this case, you will be learning mental multiplication in at least 4 unique techniques that I'll be sharing on this video. But before that, I would like to share with you some very important keys or key concepts. Now these are the left to right way or the left to right method, the addition technique or multiplication by addition, and the distributive law. Now these 3 are very useful in doing mental multiplication. To illustrate this, I have here an example. It's 34 times 6. Now the larger factor 34 can be decomposed into or can be expanded into 30 and 4 or 30 plus 4, and with that I can distribute the other factor, which is 6, to 30 and 4. So here I have a new number sentence. It's 30 times 6 plus 4 times 6. Now 30 times 6 is equal to 180, and 4 times 6 is 24. Adding these two together, I will get 204. Now what I used here is the left to right method, the addition technique, and the distributive law. Now I'll show you another example just for you to get a hang of this. So another example is 62 times 7, breaking a larger number, which is 62, into 60 and 2, and distributing 7. So I have 60 times 7 plus 2 times 7, and getting the partial product, 60 times 7, that's 420, plus 2 times 7 is 14. So, and adding the two, 420 plus 14, that's quite easy. That leads me to 434. Multiplication by addition technique is particularly useful if the larger number, in this case this is a 2 by 1 multiplication sentence, ends with lower digits or smaller digits like 1, 2, 3, or even 4. Moving to 3 by 1 multiplication and using the same technique, multiplication by addition, let me illustrate this with an example. So here I have 234 by 7 or times 7, and breaking the larger number 234 into 200 plus 30 plus 4, and distributing 7 to each. So I have 200 times 7 plus 30 times 7 plus 44 times 7, and the partial products would be 200 times 7, that's 1400, 30 times 7, that's 210, 4 times 7, that's 28, and adding all these partial products, 1 4 plus 2 10, that's 1610, plus 28, that's 1638 or 1638. Now even with a 3 by 1 number sentence, a multiplication number sentence, doing it the left to right way is still better, or is still the mental math way, and applying the multiplication by addition technique. Another example of a 3 by 1 multiplication with a special relationship of the factors is having 625 times 4. Now breaking 625 into 625, Take note here, I did not break 25 into 20 and 5. Why? Because 25 and 4 have a special relationship, and that you will find out in the steps below. So next here is to multiply 600 by 4 and 25 by 4. 600 times 4 is 2,400. 25 times 4 is equal to 100. Adding these two, 2,400 plus 100, that's equal to 2,500. Moving to a 2 by 2 multiplication number sentence using the same technique, multiplication by addition technique. Here I have an example. It's 41 times 23, and same thing, we should break the larger number into its number bonds, and that's 40 and 1, and proceed to the distribution. So it's 40 times 23 plus 1 times 23, and 40 times 23, that's 4 times 23 is 92, adding a 0, that's 920, plus 1 times 23 is 23, and adding 920 plus 23 is equal to 943. At this point, I'm going to share with you another technique, and this is multiplication by subtraction technique. This is useful whenever you find a factor, in that case a larger number, that ending in digits 7, 8, or 9. To show that, I have an example. 59 times 25. 59 is a larger number or larger factor, and it is close to a multiple of 10. In that case, this case, 60. Now, if I round this up to 60, it should mean that I subtract 1 at the end or in the process, because 59 is also equivalent to 60 minus 1. So having that, I transform that into 60 minus 1, and distributing 25, that should be 60 times 25 minus 1 times 25. Getting the partial product, 60 times 25, that's 6 times 25, gives me 150, and I'll attach the 0. I should have 1,500, minus 1 times 25 is equal to 25, and doing the subtraction, 1,500 minus 25 is equal to 1,475. Take note, this is only useful if one of the factors, in this case the larger factor, ends with digits like 7, 8, or 9. Now, to understand the subtraction technique better, I'll show another example. This is 68 times 34. Now 68 is also equal to 70 minus 2, and doing that gives me 70 times 34 minus 2 times 34. And what's 70 times 34? Well, make it 7 times 34. 7 times 30 is 210. 7 times 4 is 28. That's 238, and adding 0, that gives me 2,380. Minus 2 times 34 is simply 68, and doing the subtraction, 2,380 minus 68 is equal to 2,312. So in this case, doing or using this subtraction technique is a bit handy than using the addition technique. At this point, I would like to share with you another technique in multiplication, and this is called factoring technique. So factoring means you need to break a number into its component factors. Let's show that. Here's an example. 43 times 35. Now 43 is already a prime number, so the factors of 43 are 43 and 1. So I would not do anything with 43, and I'll go directly to 35. 35 is or has two pairs of factors. One is 35 and 1, and the other one is 7 and 5. So I'll use 7 and 5. I'll factor 35 into 7 and 5 and proceed with multiplication. So my multiplication sentence would be 43 times 7 times 5. Of course, multiplication is commutative, so I can have 43 times 7 times 5 or 43 times 5 times 7 times 5 times 7. So in this case, I choose 43 times 7. So what's 43 times 7? If I break 43 into 40 and 3, that's 7 times 40 is 280 plus 7 times 3 is 21. Adding 280 and 21, that gives me 301. And 301 times 5 is easier than the previous multiplication sentence. So that should be 300 times 5 and 1 times 5. What's 300 times 5? That is 1,500, and 1 times 5 is 5. So adding 1,505 gives me 1,505. Now for you to grasp the concept or the technique, I have here another example. It's 58 times 42. Now in this case, I would opt to factor 42, and that the factors of 42 are 7 and 6, and I would transform the sentence or the multiplication sentence into 58 times 7 times 6. Okay, so I'll proceed with the first set of factors, 58 times 7, and that can be done mentally by multiplying 7 times 50 and 7 times 8. 7 times 50 is 350, 7 times 8 is 56. 350 and 56 gives me 406. Now 406 is also an easy number because of the 0 in the middle. So it's 406 times 6. That also means 400 times 6, that's 2,400, and 6 times 6 is 36. Adding, that gives me 2,436. That's quite fast and easy with this factoring technique. Now the last but not the least technique is the close together technique, and this is one of my favorite techniques in mental multiplication. However, this is a bit limited because this can only be used when the factors involved are close to a multiple of 10 or close to the same multiple of 10. Okay, to show that, I have here an example. 32 times 36. Now both 32 and 36 are close to 30, which is a multiple of 10. Now to proceed with this technique, first I need to know which multiple of 10 these two factors are close or are near. Now I decide that they are close to 30. Now having that, next step would be to add the last digits. Now, there are ways, but this is the easiest way. Now, the last digits are 2 and 6. Now take note, the factors both begin with 3. So here I will add 2 and 6, and that gives me 8. Now that 8 would be added to 30. Now my new factors would be 30 and 38. That's a bit handy. So multiplying 30 by 38. So 3 times 30 is 90. 3 times 8 is 24. 90 plus 24, it's 114. And connecting or attaching a 0, I should have 1,140. And the last, the next step would be to multiply the last digits, which are 2 and 6. Multiplying 2 and 6 gives me 12. Adding 12 to 1140, 1140 comes from, or is the product of 30 and 38. So here 1140 plus 12 is equal to 1152. Now recall that what we did was first to decide which multiple of 10 these two factors are near or close. Then next is to add the last digits. In this case we have 2 and 6, that gives me 8, and add that to 30, which is the multiple of 10 that we decided earlier, and proceed with a new multiplication sentence. That's 30 and 38, and then add the product of the last digits, which are 2 and 6. So 30 and 38 gives me 1140, and 2 times 6 is 12. Adding 1140 and 12, that's equal to 1152. For us to understand this technique better, I have here another example. It's 64 times 68. Now these two factors are close to 60, so I decided I will use the 60 here as one of the new factors. Now the other factor would be found by first adding the last digits. That's 4 and 8. 4 plus 8 is 12, and adding that to 60, that is equal to 72. So the new multiplication sentence would be 60 times 72, and then plus the product of the last digits. So 60 times 72 is also the same as 6 times 72. So 6 times 70, that's 420. 6 times 2 is 12. That gives me 432, and adding a 0 or attaching the 0, that gives me 4320 plus the product of 4 and 6. Oh no, that's 4 and 6, but 4 and 8. 4 times 8 is 32, and adding these two together, 4320 plus 32 is equal to 4352. I hope you find these techniques useful, and if you like this video, please share this with your friends, and please subscribe to my channel. Thank you, and God bless.